And welcome back. Last part we took care of all the quests in the Blood Grove and have the final quest to go kill K-Roz and a side quest here to kill a mob underneath Fort Icon. So we're going to go do that. Do need to check my chaos res. We're at 29. So, because we're going to come up on another Doombolt boss here in a little bit. And inside where we're going, the Darkvale Gate, it's all chaos. Nice, we're doing 11k crits. What we got here? 21k. Nice. Oh, there's Trevor's note. That was a lot of stuff. Where'd all those guys come from? I thought this way was clear. Oh, that's Fort Heron. Okay. They must have destroyed the bridge when the two sides separated, because on the other side, I bet, is the other faction, Order of Death Vigil. And here we're going to read Trevor's note.
For weeks I have been getting the feeling that something bad is coming, like a knot in the pit of my stomach that won't go away, and each day it gets a bit worse. I have also noticed a lot more travelers from the capital of Irulan, heading south with all their worldly possessions. I asked a few for news from the north, but nobody could give me a clear answer, just an unshakable feeling that something awful was about to happen. How is it that we all share the same dread? No shipment from the capital again. Last week we didn't get our latest deliveries, and now again. No shipment coming in means no shipment going out. How am I supposed to run a store if I don't have supplies to sell? Local goods are fine, but I rely on being able to sell things people can't get straight from their neighbors. I am hearing hushed conversations in the streets, and a customer told me she saw some cloaked figures rolling a barrel down to the lake. And now the town drunk is missing. More likely than not, he finally tripped and tumbled over the ravine. But still, there is a strange chill in the air and everyone seems to be on edge. I'm starting to think that packing up sharp and heading south may be the best thing to do. Trevor Mills.
That's interesting. Well, his shop didn't make it, that's for sure. It's all in shambles here. Alright, well, continue onward. I want to try to read the lore notes right where I find them. I feel like that gives you the best part of the story, but sometimes you can't, because mobs surround you and stuff comes out of the ground, and if you're trying to read a lore note, I might get killed. Can I not kill the guy? Guess this is not a breakable object, this countertop here. Anything out here? Oh, there's a chest. Kill the non-believer. Mayor Bridgewater's journal. Okay, here we're going to read Mayor Bridgewater's journal.
I'm not one to wish ill on anyone for their beliefs, but I can't say I like this new faith spreading around town of late. With all the frightening rumours coming from the north, religious fanatics stirring up the populace is the last thing we need. Heath Strigbo says this religion of Ch Tharn is not new, but in fact very old. Well, if it's been around for so long, how come I have never heard of it? One of their preachers invited me to sit in and listen on their sermons to dispel any ill feelings I have towards the matter. They seemed innocuous enough, but the obsession with blood and rejoining with their God in the end of days left me uneasy. Another person has gone missing. Last week it was Tom, who I admit was a drunk and a nuisance to the town, but this week it was Mary Tess, the town's seamstress. Zeria told me that she saw Mary leaving town with a group of refugees, just as Trevor did a few days prior. At least Trevor stopped by my place to say he was leaving, but Mary, she didn't say goodbye or take anything with her. It's all just very strange. As I write this, I am preparing to meet with the town leaders to work on a way to handle all of the travellers passing through the Darkvale Gate. Hundreds come through every day now. Thankfully, most don't stop, but if this keeps up, we will have a real problem on our hands. I don't know what is going on in the capital, but it has everyone concerned. Gregor Bridgewater, Mayor of Darkvale.
Well, I got bad news for you, Mayor. They turned Zarya. Because that is the boss that we gotta kill here. She guards the Darkvale Gate. There's a lore note. There's a dynamite chest. Cool, that got an ethereal missive. Avalon's note, page 3. Those are random drops. But we'll read it.
All begins and ends with Catharn. I can see that now. My family suffering the poverty we've endured. These are all symptoms of our separation from Catharn. The Bloodsworn have shown me the way to salvation. I have prayed long and hard at the altar, poured my lifeblood out onto the stones until the answers came to me. The only way my family can truly be safe is to be reunited with Catharn. I have made the necessary arrangements. The sacrifice will proceed at dawn.
I wonder if she was at the Shrine of the Fallen Warrior we were just at. Or there was some other ritual site. I just heard a voice. Is there a dude up here? Or is he in this house? Here he is. There's more Bloodsworns in these houses. Thought I had them all killed, but guess not. So I heard his voice, but he never came out of his house to aggro me. That was odd. It's kind of neat they got bridges and stuff built to each other's house. We were down here already. Guess I'm not going the right way here. Here we go. Nice seal of binding. That's one of the things with Grim Dawn. You only know part of the story, but sometimes you find lore notes out of order. Like there we found part 3 before we even found part 1 and 2. Peacekeeper Chambers Journal. Okay, we're going to read the Peacekeeper Chambers Journal.
Our little town is surrounded by forts and soldiers of the Imperium, and yet I have never felt more alone or vulnerable. Each day I see more and more soldiers leaving Fort Harron to head north, while the road through Darkvale, is a never-ending stream of refugees heading south. Those fleeing the capital tell horrific tales of people gone crazy, of robbing and looting as madness consumes the head of our nation. One story even described a mob running down a woman in the street and devouring her alive. Sounds like a horror story, but I am assured that it's the whole truth. With so many new faces in town, my deputies are taxed with holding the town together. Fighting over scarce goods has become a daily ritual. We have had several murders in the last 2 weeks, a concept once entirely strange to our little village. 3 more people have vanished over the last week. At first we didn't pay it much heed, what with the coming and going of folk on account of the refugee situation. But with these 3 it now makes a total of 6 that have gone missing since Tom, with not a soul aware of where they'd gone to. Whatever is stirring in the capital must be making its way here as well. Some unseen dread that you can't quite pinpoint, but you can see it in the faces of those travelling south. Desperation, fear, it's all around us now, and it has taken root in Darkvale. The mayor has expressed similar concerns, particularly around a strange new religion that's been attracting followers recently. Could they be behind the recent disappearances? Vincent Chamber, peacekeeper of Darkvale.
I would say yes, Vincent. I think that's the Cult of Cthulhu. Oh darn, that's pierce damage. Well, it still adds physical and internal trauma with... We got pierce and bleed or poison and bleed. So we don't really need either one of those, so that's not an upgrade for us. Oh, Zariel's journal, page 1. Okay, we'll read Zaria's journal, page 1.
Everything is proceeding as the Bloodlord had intended. My year-long employment as the town's apothecary has earned me the people's trust, and I am now in the perfect position to spread our cause. And for those who refuse to listen to reason, who refuse to embrace the truth that is C.H. Tharn, my position as healer has made it an easy thing to take life without arousing suspicion. A little bit of powder from the Asterkarn nightshade root mixed in with a prescription will put anyone to sleep for hours. After that, it is a simple matter of retrieving the dissenter and perform the required observances. With each person we return to C.H. Tharn, I carve his sigil in their flesh. For me, it is the most important step in the early stage of the draining ritual. The blood drains quickly from a slit across the carotid artery and drains into the specially prepared oak casks that the carpenter, another blessed by the Bloodlord with this task, prepares for me. Not as nice as the glass vessels we have been preparing, but much easier to hide suspicion. The body is stored in a second barrel, weighed down with stones, and then sunk to the bottom of the lake. Nearly every death over the last year has added to our tribute with no suspicion falling upon us. But now, with the servants of the false gods arriving at the capital and spreading havoc across the empire, our time has finally arrived to reveal ourselves from the shadows and usher humanity into the end times. All shall receive the gift of reunification. Zeria, apothecary of Darkvale.
Ah, so it was them behind the whole thing. Puts them to sleep, drains their blood, puts the body in the bottom of a barrel. That's nice. There's a note called the bathhouse. What's this? Alright, here we'll read the bathhouse note.
The process of collecting blood was so slow it was driving me crazy, so I set up a 2-tank system, then rigged the public bathhouse plumbing with a drain switch. Now we can drain the water from the tubs back into the water tank, but when I flip the switch, the drain will go into the second tank, where the blood can then be stored. However, the pulley system with hooks was the crowning accomplishment. It hides out of sight when not in use, but when we are ready for sacrifices. Zeria has provided me with nightshade root to dissolve with the bath salts. Combined with the hot water, it should lull our guests to sleep. Then we drain the water, perform the rites, flip the switch and collect the offerings without spilling a single drop. It took some effort, but I am proud of what I have set up. It is the first step to mass collections and will speed up the process. I cannot wait to tell the others. Herod Feldrin, Darkvale Carpenter.
Holy. Alrighty then. I don't really know even what to say about that. Well, here's the bass and the pulley system, so... There's a devotion shrine, and here's Zarya. She has a lot of chaos damage, so... But the DPS is so high it doesn't matter. Zarya's note, page 2. What else? Okay, we'll read Zarya's journal, page 2.
I have been informed by messengers of the Bloodlord that the preparations for the resurrection at the necropolis have begun. Our time to seize the town is now. The sheriff and his peacekeepers will be dealt with first. With them gone, the remaining civilians will fall in line with our doctrines or be harvested for the ritual. I have already dispatched my loyal Bloodsworn to barricade the Darkvale gates, trapping the refugees inside. They will all fuel the ritual in due time. Once news of this reaches the Black Legion, we will have to be prepared for a counter-assault. I will personally see to converting the frightened and misguided who remain in Darkvale. If they will not join our cause, then they can dance at the end of a rope and be drained as encouragement to those who have yet to choose. They must all learn that there is no place safer than under the guidance of the Bloodlord. They must come to understand that there is no peace to be found in the lands to the south. Only in the warm embrace of Catharn will we truly be where we belong. Zarya the Carver.
And here we got our devotion shrine. Get the point real quick. You always want to kill Zarya first before you do the devotion shrine, because sometimes she can aggro when there's more mobs here. And if she does that, you might just get doom bolted to death. Second point in Ghoul. And then we'll head into the Darkvale Gate. It's one way, so you can't go back out. You can only go in. And here we'll secure the rift. Alright, that raised blocks. You gotta go this way. Alright, our Chaos Potion went out, so because it only lasts for, I think, 6 minutes. 900 seconds, whatever that is. It's more than 6 minutes, but... How about those Lord notes? Jesus. This cult here has, this Bloodsworn cult people have been infiltrating the village of Darkvale for a while, capturing their citizens, draining their blood and putting their bodies in the bottom of barrels in a lake. Blood for Catharn, okay. Read the blood of Catharn.
I try to console them. I tell them everything will be all right. Their eyes go wide with fear as I find the spark between the ribs and push the blade in. They always cry and it makes me a little sad. They do not yet understand. I watch the blood as it flows down their naked legs and into the large basin I have placed below their suspended form. Catharn calls for every drop. To ensure I get it all, I begin by making shallow cuts. First the legs, then the torso, and lastly the arms. Slowly their struggle rescinds and they accept their fate. At last they find understanding. The blood is not theirs, they are only holding it for another, and now it must be returned. To Catharn, to whom it rightly belongs. At last their fear is peeled away and they are happy to give the blood freely. Devoted servant of Catharn, Bellow Hind.
Holy. Alright. Guy talks about how he kills people, drains the blood. One of these mobs, I was reading in one of the lore notes earlier that it took the blood of 3 men to be able to make one of these, and I just killed one a minute ago. But next time I see one, I'll try to remember to bring it up before I kill it. It's the dudes that explode with chaos energy right when they die, which I don't know if it's actually chaos damage. I think it's blood from all the men that they've killed. Could have went to the exit, but for some reason I thought there was another lore note around here, but maybe not. We're finding a lot of lore notes coming into the end of Act 3 here, because once we kill K-Roz, that'll be the end of that. That's the Act 3 boss.
Another sacrifice. Fresh blood.
Good, here's a totem.
Yes, another.
We'll come down here and get the totem. Those guys, this type of mob, said it takes the blood of 3 men to be able to, for the Chthonics to make one of those. I forget what lore note that was. It was one of the lore notes from Act 1. Darn, no monster infrequent there. One of those mobs, this guy right here, this mob, see his axe, he has a force wave monster infrequent axe, but he didn't drop it that specific time. We're just gonna sell all that stuff. I don't have time to read through it. Part of the problem with Grim Dawn 2 is you level so fast that you can't look at your gear every level, otherwise you'll just be in town all day and you'll never level. Like if you notice, I'm still using a level 17 axe. Is there better stuff? Probably. This might be alright, but Shattered Reality is Aether damage. And since I can't convert Aether to physical, I think I'm just going to keep what I got. I did thought I saw some gloves that was of attack. That's lightning. I thought I had some gloves that were... Yeah, here we go. But see, it's chaos and poison damage, so it's not helpful to us. I might look at the resist. There is no resist, okay.
Fresh blood.
I don't know if you saw that there. There was one of those exploding guys here. They explode for so much chaos damage, you got to get away from them when they die, or else you might die with it if you're hardcore. And here's the entrance to K-Roz. I always call him K-Roz. I don't know why the TTS says K-Roz. Might be the United Kingdom English model that it's using. But we're not switching now because I'm not going to recode all of those lore notes from Act 1 and 2 and all the ones in Act 3 with some other model. I thought she spoke the clearest out of all the models I had available. Let me know in the comments if you like her narration. I think it's pretty good. Good, a lore note. There's his chest. Here, get the quest item, the lore note, and what else we got here? Final sermon, the end of times. Okay. And here's the lore note that dropped off of K-Roz, the final boss for Act 3. Final sermon, the end of times.
Blood-sworn supplicants of Catharn, it is with great purpose that we gather here today for what will be my final sermon to you. You have devoted yourselves completely, forsaking all past relations, earthly possessions, and free will. You have proven that you are finally ready to become part of a greater whole, to receive the glorious gift of reunification. I must remain behind with the others to finish our great work. Yet, even as you depart your lives, you will advance this broken world one step closer to the end time. The time when the dismal, suffering world will become reunited with Catharn, making the oldest of the old whole again, and righting the great wrong perpetrated millennia ago by the false guards. These upstart guards who manipulated the course of our existence, set themselves up to be the objects of worship, and have lived off our blood and toil for ages. The end time will also bring doom to the wayward ethereals, past agents of the false guards who were betrayed, and then cast into the formless ether once their purpose had been served. They have hindered us, slaughtered our brethren, and tried to claim dominance over this world. Yet we must also thank them, for it is the ethereals who have unwittingly made possible our ascension by destroying the Empire and its Inquisition. No longer does the Inquisition hunt us, suppress our truths, or deny us access to our sacred places. Unshackled from the strictures of the Empire, people have awakened from the false dream of civilization, and our ranks have swelled. Not knowing the history of our world, the ethereals are ignorant of the doom that we will awaken. They cannot surmise our endgame, and once they realize what they have set in motion, it will be too late for them to stop us. Our most devoted brethren march with legions of the void for necropolis. They need only prevent our enemies from breaching our final line, for even as they attack our forces, the blood they spill will feed our resurrection ritual. Where once we suffered our greatest defeat, our ultimate triumph shall be reborn, and the Loghorian, forerunner of the end time, will carry the 1,000 screaming voices of Catharn into the world and usher in a new age.
I think he's just crazy. And you go out at the Dark Vale Gate to Asterkarn Road and look for the Rift Gate. What we got down here? Some grovels. I'll have to look at that. Thunderstruck a thunder. Bunch of lightning. Let's see what it is. Storm Totem. And Stormcaller's Pack. So if you're a shaman, Storm Totem, Stormcaller's Pack, and Raging Tempest are all shaman skills. That's a pretty good offhand. I might throw that in my stash. I don't know. You never know. Might make one, might not. Never can tell. Also looking for lore notes here, so. Because remember, people were coming from the north, coming south through the Dark Vale Gate and kind of got stopped in the Dark Vale village there. Here's the Rift Gate. Thank you for watching and subscribe for more.